Have you ever seen your loved ones crying? Not in real life, but in a dream? A cry so heavy, it doesn't use words. It speaks directly to your soul. And then they appear. The people you love the most. But something's wrong. They're too tall. Their heads almost touching the ceiling. Their tears fall silently. They don't speak. They just stand there, staring at you. And just as quietly as they entered, they turn around and walk away. You wake up breathless, shaken, telling yourself it was just a dream. But then, days later, the exact same scene happens in real life. Same people, same tears, same silence. Only this time, you're lying in a hospital bed, and you can't wake up from it. If you've ever believed dreams are just meaningless thoughts, then maybe you've never felt the grip of sleep paralysis. Because sometimes your nightmare is a warning. Has anyone ever experienced sleep paralysis? It's one of the most surreal and horrifying things imaginable. You're conscious, fully aware of your surroundings, but your body won't move. It's like being trapped between two worlds, not quite asleep, not quite awake, frozen. I'd heard about it before. People describe dark figures, shadows, whispers. I never thought it would happen to me. It was during college, a brutally stressful week. Finals were eating me alive. I hadn't slept properly in days, and the night before my last biology exam, I stayed up studying. Eventually, I gave in to the exhaustion. Everything turned to static, then to black. Next thing I knew, I was in my bed, in my room, but something was wrong. My eyes opened, but the rest of me felt numb, heavy, frozen. I couldn't move a single muscle, only my eyes could scan the darkness. The air felt thick, like the room was underwater. And then I saw her. At first, just a shape, a silhouette. Then she came into focus. Standing in the center of my room, a woman in a long black dress, holding something. She was facing me, silent, motionless. My heart was screaming for help. I tried to speak, to whisper, "Mom?" But nothing came out. She began to move, closer and closer. Then she knelt by the bed and touched my forehead. I felt it. Her skin, cold, but real. She leaned in, eye to eye, and I saw it, my mother's face. Tears welled up inside me. I tried again to speak, to say, "Mom, please," but I was still trapped, still silent. She stood up, turned, and walked away into the hallway. And just like that, she was gone. 10, maybe 20 seconds passed. Then, clarity. Suddenly, I could move again. I sat up, gasping. I bolted out of bed, screaming, "Mom! Mom!" Desperately running through the hallway, searching. A door opened, and someone ran toward me, wrapped their arms around me. But it wasn't her. It was my dad, holding me tight, whispering, "I miss her too." My mom had passed away 3 weeks earlier. Sleep paralysis sometimes opens a door to something else, something waiting. You know what I've always loved about dreams? How vague, how bizarre, how completely unreal they can be. In dreams, nothing needs to make sense. You drift into a world that's alien, yet familiar, beautiful, or terrifying. But what happens and that dreamlike strangeness bleeds into the real world. Let me tell you what I mean. I was deep in REM sleep, caught in a nightmare. Something was chasing me. A creature, strange, disfigured, crawling behind me through a dark, endless forest. And then, the dream began to fade. Not end, fade. My eyes opened. I was back in my room. My bed, my ceiling, my walls. But I couldn't move. Not a muscle. I was trapped in my own body. Again. Paralyzed. Then I heard it. A sound. Faint at first. Like something robotic, mechanical, yet disturbingly alive. It echoed in my head every few seconds. Tick, tick, tick. With each repetition, it got louder and closer. It wasn't just noise, it was a presence. I could feel it pressing into my ears, wrapping around my skull. I wanted to scream, but my body refused. My lips sealed, my voice locked away. Then, my eyes locked onto the closet door. There was a cracking, a gap, which was strange, because I never leave my closet door open, ever. And that's when I saw it, a face, distorted, unnatural. A man's face, squeezed into that tiny crack, with a twisted, inhumanly wide grin, unblinking, unmoving, staring at me. Every time that sound echoed again, the closet door inched closer, and so did the face. Closer and closer and closer, until slam. The closet door slammed shut. The sound stopped. Silence. And just like that, I could move again. My body jolted into life. I was 24 years old. But in that moment, I ran. Straight to my parents' room. I begged my dad to come check the closet. He did. There was nothing there. No face. No crack. Just clothes. Darkness. Stillness. He told me it was sleep paralysis. Said he had it once too. But even with all the logic in the world, I didn't make what I saw feel any less real or any less terrifying. Sometimes, the door between dreams and reality opens just a little too wide. Many years ago, I had the most terrifying experience of my life. A sleep paralysis episode that still haunts me. I knew something was in the closet. Something evil. I couldn't see it, but I felt it. A presence that swallowed the air. But deep down, I also knew I was dreaming. And I needed to face my fear. So I tried. I didn't want to look directly at the closet door. But every time I moved my eyes, my entire head would turn away. It was like something was controlling me, not allowing me to confront what was inside. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't force myself to look at it. And then, I woke up, in a cold sweat, gasping. Relief flooded over me. It was over. Just a dream, or so I thought. But the feeling didn't fade, because I wasn't really awake. And the thing was still in the closet. I was lying flat on my back, paralyzed. I didn't hear it. I felt it. Laughter. Sickening, grotesque laughter, rolling over me in invisible waves. It radiated from the closet like a pulse, like something enjoyed watching me suffer. Then it happened. Something was thrown at me, heavy, cold. It landed on my chest. I looked down, a human head, face up, eyes wide open. It was a girl I knew from high school, a face I hadn't seen in years, now staring lifelessly at me from inches away. Up until that moment, I had held it together, terrified, but silent. But now, I lost it. I couldn't scream, only grunt. Muffled moans, like a prisoner with no voice. I twisted, strained, tried to throw the thing off me, but my body refused to move. Seconds felt like hours. It went on for what felt like eternity. And then I really woke up, panting, trembling. The head was gone. The closet was closed, and the room was still. But the fear remained. For weeks, I couldn't trust my own waking moments. Every time I opened my eyes, I feared I wasn't really awake, that something would return. Even now, years later, just thinking about that laugh still makes my skin crawl. And the worst part? I had never even heard of sleep paralysis back then. No name, no explanation. I truly thought I was losing my mind. Some fears don't wait for dreams. They come when you're awake, and you're helpless to stop them. I've experienced sleep paralysis 3 times in my life. The first 2, just the classic version, waking up fully conscious, but completely unable to move. Frightening, yes, but nothing supernatural. The third time was different, very different. It was early morning, maybe 5 or 6 a.m., the kind of hour where the sky is barely beginning to glow. A faint light crept into my room, just enough to see shapes, shadows. I opened my eyes and instantly felt it, that horrible familiar grip. Paralysis. My body wouldn't move, not even a twitch. My eyes locked on the wall. That helplessness returned, that dread. And then I heard it. Footsteps. Heavy, slow, climbing the stairs toward my bedroom. Then I saw them. My family, my brother, my sister, my dad, and my mom. All walking in. All crying uncontrollably. And all of them taller than normal. Almost unnaturally tall. Their heads nearly brushing the ceiling. They came closer. Silent, except for sobs. And then they just stood there, hovering over me, looking down at me. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. All I could do was stare, terrified. Their figures, their heights, their grief. Then, without a word, they all turned and walked back down the stairs. And suddenly, I could move again. I jumped out of bed, ran downstairs, but the hallway was empty. They were gone. I rushed to each of their rooms, one by one. All 4 of them were asleep, snoring, peaceful, completely unaware of what I had just seen. My heart was racing, my breathing ragged. I had to press against the wall just to steady myself. The fear didn't fade, and I couldn't sleep the rest of that night. I just lay there, waiting for the sun to fully rise. Days later, I was crossing the road with my friends. A speeding car appeared out of nowhere and slammed into me. I woke up in the hospital. 3 bones broken, a fractured thigh, bruised, shaken, and there they were again. All 4 of them. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, standing around my hospital bed, looking down at me, just like they did in my sleep paralysis. Mom was crying. Dad silent. Their faces, the same. It hit me. That wasn't just a dream. It was a warning. A vision. I'm not superstitious. I never believed in signs, in omens. But even now, as I see this I have chills. That dream wasn't just a dream. Sometimes the scariest vision There was this one night, summer of 2016. I'd been out drinking with friends, wandering around town aimlessly. It was late, probably past midnight. We were laughing, telling stories, when one of my friends suddenly stopped. "Look," he whispered, pointing toward a bush in front of a house. We all turned. There was someone hiding in there. Barely visible, just a hint of movement in the shadows. It was weird, off, like they didn't belong. We got closer, and then we heard it. A sound, unearthly, distorted, somewhere between a groan and a hiss. We screamed, laughed nervously, ran away like idiots. It was creepy, but also kind of hilarious in the moment. There were a lot of us, so it felt like harmless fun. Just someone messing with us, right? I made it home, got into bed, and passed out fast, too drunk to overthink. But what came next was something I'll never forget. I woke up, not slowly, snapped awake. The room was dark, pitch black. I tried to sit up, but I couldn't. Sleep paralysis. I'd had it before. But this was different. I scanned the room with just my eyes, and then I heard it. That same noise from the bush, that sickening, unnatural sound. But now it was in my room. I tried to scream, tried to move. Nothing. Then I saw it. At the foot of my bed, something hovering. A grotesque, twisted head, pale, demonic. Its jaw hung wide open, its skin peeling, cracked, dead. But it wasn't floating. There was a body, a tall, dark figure, blending into the blackness of the room. It kept making that noise, that awful rattling sound, and it came closer, inches from my face. Its eyes never blinked, its mouth never closed. I wanted to cry, but I was paralyzed. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished. I gasped, finally able to move. I screamed. I turned on the lamp, my heart racing, chest heaving. There was nothing. The room was empty, but what I had seen, what I had felt, was too real to be a dream. The next morning, I told my parents. They said it must have been sleep paralysis. They believed me, but they'd never heard of anything like that. Not something so vivid, so terrifying. Even now, that sound from the bush still echoes in my mind. What if what we left at was never meant to be seen? What if it followed us home?
They say sleep paralysis is just a glitch, a trick of the mind. A moment when your body forgets how to wake up. But what if it's more than that? What if the things we see, the whispers we hear, the shadows standing at our bedsides, aren't just dreams? What if they come with purpose, to show us something, to warn us, to haunt us? Not just in sleep, but in memory. If you've ever woken up breathless, unable to scream, trapped between sleep and reality, then maybe you already know. Some nightmares don't fade when the sun rises. Some stay with you forever. If this story sent a chill down your spine, you're not alone. Share it with someone who still believes dreams are harmless. And remember, some whispers are not imagined. They're remembered.